Okay, so for the next part, we're going to talk about factors affecting soil formation. Now, for this part, we have the acronym CLART. Yes, CLART. It does not make sense, but hopefully if you can make your own acronym, that would be good too. So guys, again, what I always tell you, try to create acronyms to help you remember these sort of information. So, first, we have climate. So what happens in climate? So here we see how the amount of precipitation actually dictates how much weathering your rocks will be subjected to. And your rocks are actually contribute to the amount of weathered materials, therefore affecting the amount of soil that is produced. So up next, we also have organic activity in the form of your organisms. So, in a way, vegetation actually ensures that we have enough moisture content, as moisture, an appropriate amount of moisture actually helps make the soil rich. At the same time, vegetation makes it less prone to weathering and erosion. And finally, just like what the Bible keeps telling us, well, we return to the land as ashes. Therefore, organisms actually give back the nutrients to the soil once they pass on. Well, we also have different bacteria. They're actually the most important organisms in the soil as they help break down organic material. Specifically, one example is your nitrogen fixation. Aside from that, we also have animals such as earthworms and different bugs that actually help steer the soil and get it moving and get more soil air into the system. Aside from that, we also have relief or topography. This actually talks about how high, how steep, how low the different structures are on the earth. So in this case, we're talking about the shape, the height, the elevation of the landscape. So higher elevation would oftentimes dictate a steeper slope, and that this means that there is lower moisture absorption. So if you think about it, if you think of a mountain. Where is richer soil? Oftentimes, it will often be at the base instead of the top of the mountain, as water tends to rush down and more richer elements from weathered products actually start to drip down due to gravity. So oftentimes, more nutrients are actually found at the base of a mountain. So aside from that, we also talk about parent material. So all soil actually contains different weathered fragments from rocks. Now in this case, just like what we talked about as to how different soils will have different characteristics, such as in terms of color, this is actually because of what rock material did they come from. And of course, we also have time. Just like anything else, soil requires time to form and heal. And oftentimes, soil formation is a very lengthy process. So mature soil oftentimes takes hundreds of years to actually form. And that they've actually reached an equilibrium with their environment as well. While immature or young soil oftentimes still exhibits qualities from their parent materials. Now, if we talk about how soil exactly does form, we can actually see that we start with bedrock. Now, bedrock and all the other rocks are actually subjected to weathering. And from there on, we start the formation of organic material. At this point, your soil still has similar qualities to the parent material. Therefore, we can still call it as immature soil. Now, as time goes on, more organic material is deposited upon the life and death of different organisms. And also, as time goes on, more weathered products are deposited. At this point, the soil starts to vary greatly from the parent material. Now, after that, upon a good amount of time, let's say 500 years, we can actually see that the soil has now developed into its mature form. So here we can see that it's actually rich in organic matter, it has a lot of inorganic materials as well, and that it's very much capable of supporting more life in the form of your plants and even your microorganisms. So generally, this is an infographic about the formation of soil, but what I want you guys to take in with this graph is that soil goes through a lot of processes to actually shape and form. And therefore, it's actually a resource that should be conserved as well, along with water. So it actually takes around 2 to 3 centimeters of soil. It takes around 500 years for it to actually form. So therefore, in the next part of our lecture, we're going to talk about conservation strategies that we can take to conserve our soil. For now, we end this particular lecture here. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!